Hello, stamping friends. Welcome to the June online card class. I hope that you love these cards as much as I do. They are some really fun cards that you can use for all different occasions. We're going to be putting this card together. In the online card class, you receive a PDF that gives you the picture of the card, what we use in the card, and then some brief instructions. The video, of course, helps you with the visual part, which I think is very helpful. This is the first class out of the new Stampin' Up! Catalog, Share the Fun. This is really a great catalog, and I want to show you a couple of things. When you were told to what stamp set to order for the month, I don't know if you knew where it was. We gave you the item code and all of that, but it's on the back flap of the catalog. And this is the stamp set. This stamp set is part of the Ronald McDonald stamp set. Stampin' Up! Has been doing this for several years. Oh my, I meant to look that up to see. I want to say like 8 or 9, maybe 10 years. It's been a long time. And for every one of the Ronald McDonald stamp sets, Stampin' Up! Will donate money to the charity. This stamp set, they are donating $3 to the Ronald McDonald charities. So I hope that this makes you just feel just as warm and fuzzy as I do. This is the best stamp that they have come out with, stamp set they've come out with, I feel like, for the Ronald McDonald charities, and they're going to donate $3. So this is such a win-win. The embossing folder that I am using is a new one, and it is on page 174 in the new catalog, and it is boho chic. I just want to use it all the time. I mean, it really is a gorgeous embossing folder. So I wanted to point that out to you, boho chic. So this is the stamp set. Okay, it is photopolymer, and you all should have yours by now in your hands. The pieces for the card, and this is the card, by the way. Oh, isn't it pretty? See that boho chic folder? Okay, so the pieces that you will have are the card base. You're going to get a piece of Whisper White that is cut big enough for you to use the boho chic folder with. And then you're going to have scraps. This month, going to kind of do the scraps a little bit differently, and you'll see that when you get your card kit. There is two pieces cut in an oval shape. There is a piece of chocolate chip. So this is what you get for this card kit. And before we actually get to stamping, I wanted to show you, I put the stamp like that so I would remember to do it. Whenever you're stamping the words and you try to put the words on like that, sometimes they get a little wonky jog. So that is a word, by the way. So if you'll just put the stamp down and then just stamp with the block, and then that way all of your words are perfectly straight and lined up. Okay, so let's get started. By the way, I do have a piece of the paper piercing mat underneath here for my stamping because I'm using the photopolymer stamps. The photopolymer stamps do not have a cushion in them, so I like to add my own cushion underneath. So we're going to use chocolate chip. And all of the colors that I'm using were given to you with your ordering instructions. So if you don't have the colors I'm using, hopefully you have something that's fairly close. So I'm just going to stamp that right there. Okay. And then I'm going to stamp using the little itty bitty tiny stems for the plants. And I'm using Cucumber Crush. Oh, it's a new in color. I love how they're all like food colors. Well, not all of them, but some of them are. So I'm going to go ahead and do some stamping. And don't worry about lining up. Don't stress about that. I actually stamped my tree over a little bit further, so I'm going to make this card look a little bit different. You know what? When you're stamping your card, you can do the same thing. So I'm going to put that aside, and I'm going to get out the little flower, teeny tiny flower. So you always want to make sure that you put your stamp pieces back on the sheet so that you don't lose them. Little tiny thing. Yep, you don't want to lose that. What did I do with the block? Oh, there it is. Oops. And don't put your stamp set in the stamp pad, so we'll have to tidy that up later. Okay, so I'm going to use a Watermelon Wonder. See, I'm saying these out loud so it'll help me remember them because it's hard to know all these new names. And then the fact that it's a photopolymer stamp, I can see exactly where I am stamping. So that's kind of fun. Okay, and so that's it. Going to switch colors. Let me grab my cleaner. I try really hard to be ready, but sometimes you just forget the little things, so sorry about that. All right, so now we're switching to the Dijon, Delightful Dijon. Another new in color. And finish up these flowers. So cute. Okay, so then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to stamp the tree, and I'm just using my scrap of paper. Now, whenever you're using, the other thing that you were asked to purchase was the matching punch that goes with the stamp set, okay? So if you'll notice, this punch has several pieces in there, so you want to use your paper accordingly. So you don't want to put a whole piece of paper in here, or you're going to get a white tree trunk and the apple and all that. So right now we're just looking at the top piece. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. So I'm going to go ahead and ink this up. And in this case, I am just going to stamp as close to the bottom of my paper as possible. So when I line up my punch, I'm not catching anything else in there, okay? So it'll be a pretty clean punch. See what I mean? Way to save paper. Okay, so we got that done. And so now we're going to start putting our card together. So the first thing we want to do is attach our embossed piece of paper. And if you've been with me before on classes, you know that I like to use liquid Tombow, the multi-purpose liquid glue. It gets all down in these grooves. Layer this onto the, I know that's hard to see because it's brown on black, so trust me, it's there. There we go. Okay, and then we have our card base, and we're going to go ahead and just use snail for that. We'll put some snail on. Whoops, there we go. Okay, whoops, a little bit squeezed out. So I'm going to layer this on here. Okay, and then we have our oval piece, and you can put this on with dimensionals. I think I'm going to, just to kind of pop it all up a bit. Go ahead and add my dimensionals. And I'm going to go ahead and put some snail on the back of the layer and add that. I can't wait to see how many cards you come up with after you complete June's, the cards for June, which is 6 cards, because this stamp set truly is unlimited on the possibilities. All right, so we're going to lay this right here. Whoops. Okay, and then we have our tree top, and of course we're going to use some dimensionals on that. Whoops, don't need that many. So all I do is just dig my fingernail into the back of that to get the dimensional paper to release. And I don't have very long nails, so it doesn't take much. Okay, so we're going to line this up here. About right there. Okay, now on this card there is a teeny tiny bird. I knew you didn't want to watch me fussy cut that bird, so I cut it out ahead of time. Okay, and I have another glue that I like to use, and it is the two-way glue. I've had these forever. They just really last a long time. So I'm going to get that started, and I'm just going to use just a dot, and then I'm going to put my little birdie in the tree. Okay, we are missing one other thing, and that is the sentiment, okay? The sentiment says, I'm so lucky to call you my friend, and I am using chocolate chip. So I have my piece of paper, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to stamp it as close. Let's see if you can see what I'm doing. As close to the bottom. Okay, and then you're going to take snips and just trim it. If you want to take it to your paper trimmer, you can. But you know, hand stamped cards do not have to be perfect, so don't stress out about it if yours is a little bit crooked or whatever. So I'm going to go ahead and trim off just a bit on either end. And we're going to give it the banner effect. Just going to come in up the center on each side and give it a cute little banner. Whoops. And then we'll do the other side. So up from the middle, from each corner. There we go. Maybe. Okay, so there's that. And then we want to use some dimensionals again. Do you just feel like I use dimensionals all the time, and so you feel like you have to add it to all your orders? Because I use them all the time, don't I? It just gives it dimension. That's why they're called dimensionals. Okay, so then we're just going to pop this right here. And that cute card is done. Come back for the next one.